Welcome back to the posthumous investigation. Let's go. I'm so excited. Last time I started an episode, I said that we were at 60. No, I said we were at like 48%. We're now at 64%. So we've jumped up in percentage points between now and then. Of course, I've always just got to quickly go through my thing and see what I'm actually doing. In this case, yeah, I know that I've finished you already. Ben, what am I doing with you? I probably want to see you in your office, actually, Ben, so let's go do that now. Because there's still a lot of stuff I would talk to you about. I can also now go to the mental hospital and see if anyone wants to talk to me there. So let's do that after we have a chat with Ben. Yeah. Let's go. Ben, my good friend. How you doing? Ooh. Ben. Alrighty. Let's have a chat with you. We got lots to chat with him about. We've only ever talked to him about two people, and there's one... Well, all the clues apart from this. Is there information you could share about your defense in the lawsuit Lobo Neves filed against Bearz? I don't think I can add any new information about him. Having a client like Bearz Cubas all these years was never an easy task. You sound relieved at the fact that you don't need to work for him anymore. Touche, your sarcasm resembles his own, and as far as I know, the two of you have never met. Well, even though he could be a real pain, he was the closest thing to a friend I ever had. Really, Mr. Santiago? What is a bloody friend for other than to betray your trust when you least expect it? No more talking about these feelings, especially to you. I agree, Brent. I agree. I would rather you not talk to me about it. What could you tell me about Padre Cabal, Mr. Santiago? A few things. I've known Cabal since we were children, before I started to follow the laws of God, before I started to follow the laws of men. It's but amusing, even if only a little, to think of the prominent position he holds today. The sacristy still offers some advantages, doesn't it? Sacristy? It's amazing to see how eagerly ordinary people listen to the deliberate lies told by priests and religious leaders. I agree, yeah. Everyone listens to priests and it's just not worth it. Maybe Padre Cabal should be more grateful, considering the detours on the journey that took him to where he is today. So you've got some dirt on Padre Cabal, have you? Mr. Santiago, let's talk about Princess Bulba, shall we? I've no doubt that you can tell me a thing or two about the guy. What can be said of him? Those in my profession are accused of becoming rich at the expense of others, but didn't he do the same? I suppose he did. He started a religion. Let me tell you one thing, detective. What, Ben? Oblivion is a blessing for many people. As far as Quintus is concerned, his fading into oblivion is his greatest legacy. Alright, what about your wife? I'd like to know some more about your wife, Capito, Mr. Santiago. As a husband, you can help me with that, I suppose. What kind of help do you expect to get regarding my wife? Why are you interested in her? Have you been meeting her, me? No, I've never talked to her. Detective, after working my trade for so long, I've learned to recognize a liar immediately. Why would I be lying about that? Me? Lying? Low life like you appear every now and then, gradually getting closer like mice to eat the scraps from my table. But I made them disappear as quickly as they came. Gulp. It's about time you went away, detective, before I changed my mind. And finally, let's talk about Lobo. Lobo Neves, Mr. Santiago, a big shot well known by many. Would you care to tell me some more about Lobo? Lobo has successfully gained more and more power, perhaps the only asset that is still worth anything in this decadent city, even with such an undeniable power. Decadent? Is that the right word? Yes? Even with Lobo's undeniable power, Bearz insisted on squaring up to him. I would say indecent city. Some people just don't realize that greed always wins. Fair enough. Well, thank you for talking to me. That's all I wanted to know for now. But I will be coming to see you later. I still find it creepy that you've got a large photo of your wife on the... What are you doing? Oh, you're sitting up for animals. Who sits up for animals so early? Let's go to the Casa Verde outskirts. That's the mental hospital room. And let's have a chat to the doctor. I'm going to delivery from Mr. Straw. Oh, this is an unusual time for deliveries, but that's fine. You may come in. Alright, well, I'm sorry, sometimes I'm kind of evasive. No need to justify yourself. Hee phew. Okay, so, yeah, he doesn't care too much. Let's talk to the patient. Oh, so we have a foreigner trespassing my domains. These are your domains? Currently, yes, I've abandoned the old home long ago. Despite not being from around here, and you also haven't introduced yourself properly, I will welcome you to the Casa Verde district. This hearing is being recorded, so you will be careful about what you say. Okay, so I can show him various items. Hasta la vista. And another patient. Hey you, get out of here. I'm here by mistake. Isn't everyone admitted here by mistake? I've already noticed it too. This place is a prison. Some troglodytes came to the harbour and dragged me here. Really? Okay. And so far I haven't been able to contact anyone. Alright, so we can use an item on him as well. You're new here. I don't recommend you get too distracted in this place. And I'm not talking about the inmates, poor things. Many of them have no clue about the reason why they're here. Well, that's because they've been taken here against their will. So what would be the reason? The reason is almost 6.5 feet tall, has a cold look, and doesn't show any emotion. Watch out, he'll always find a bizarre reason to trap you in here. Why don't people stand up to him? It's easier said than done. He's feared all over the city. Whoever lashes out at him is forced into the institution, or ends up like that big shot. What was his name? Bearz, yes. Bearz Cubus, may God rest his soul. So he's saying that the doctor killed Bearz. Locked, it makes me wonder. Something important must be kept here. Right, and so we need a key for that. Oh my god, the screaming. Make it stop. Okay. Well, that's somewhat interesting, but we didn't learn anything, so let's go down to Noble's Park, but then once I get to Noble's Park, I'll open up my journal and see what we've got information-wise about various people. So we've still got more information about suspects. The next suspect that we can find out about, there's no one apparently, because there's no exclamation marks. Nope, 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 nope. Nope. Oh, well, so we've got question marks on here. Anyone else have a question mark on? So we've still got things to find out about Eva, Princess, Sophia, which we need entry into a dressing room for. And there's it. But I do not know how to get entry into a dressing room right now. Already shown. Okay, so let's have a look. We have not shown this to Lobo or Virgilia. Yeah. So let's show it to those, and we'll show that to... Okay. Yeah, so we've got heaps. How to influence Cockrum to bet online. Well, we've already done that, haven't we? Yeah. So... unless there's other ways to show them to bet online. Members of the Carico elite when the singer of yesterday had come back. Alrighty, so we can probably talk to a bunch of people about that as well. So let's go in and see who will actually chat to us about stuff. Come on in. Thank you. Rubio. Tell me stuff. Do you have anything? Oh yeah, let's ask for the humanitarian mirror. Perfect. Who do we want to show the human? We probably want to show it to him when he's insane. We might want to show it to the one of the people in the mental hospital as well, because he resembles Rubio when he's insane. Anyone in here? No. Okay. Let's quickly run over to Thing then. And see if we can chat with the lady. What's her name? I've forgotten. This one. Santiago. Yes, come on in. Fantastic. Brilliant. Alright. Talk to me, Mrs. Capito. Have you heard about the elite of the city? What do you know about power, investigator? Do you know where it comes from? Where it builds up? Every city has its elite, and every elite owns the city. That's exactly what I came to talk to you. Honestly, I'm tired of the people running this place. It's because I fear they'll come for me that I carry out my activities anonymously. They want to dictate the course of culture and the arts. And how? Bearz, for instance, that irresponsible was behind a troublesome publication in the 4th issue of the Buzz. Alright, so we'll get another issue of the Buzz. I'll use this issue of our much criticized newspaper to draw attention to a subject that's been touching our hearts and affecting our ears. I'm tired of turning on the radio and being forced to listen to singers that sound like dying cats. Enough! The melancholy of our present needs to be accompanied by a voice that fills our soul, that brings us something soothing during ashen days, such as the singers of yesterday. This editor Briggs, please come back. Please! He was capable of infuriating even the kindest of souls. I remember how Sophia, my pupil at the time, was completely angered. Sophia got furious? That article was a low blow. Sophia had never heard such scathing criticism before. Really, it's not even that scathing. Sophia herself, however, is a strong woman. She knows how to defend herself. She acted quickly in reprisal to such nonsense. We can say that Sophia never backs down when she's disrespected. Okay, that's interesting. So you were the mysterious diva. I've always been a woman of marrying mysteries. Whenever I went to, and whoever I was with, yes, I was the mysterious diva. From that nickname, I chose to keep the adjective only. And why did you abandon your career? Being a music star was never the life I wanted for myself. I chose a normal life, although Bearz's insistence that I should return to the stage was always a nuisance. The freedom to walk the streets of my city without being recognized and bothered is priceless, investigator. I know it well. Even so, I must confess, lately I've got the feeling that I'm being spied on. Probably me, actually. Is she trying to give me a hint? Maybe I should let it go. Well, let's change the subject and ask her about the spying. Investigator, tell me something. Have you ever had the feeling you're being spied on? Usually I'm the one doing the spying. However, I'm eager to know what it's like being on the other side of the story. I have this strange feeling that I've been constantly watched. It's as if with every speak I take, someone somewhere for some reason is watching my every move. Am I being paranoid? When I begin to think of something of the sort, I always resort to this logic. Who would be so interested in me, follow me everywhere I go, even though I'm always at the exact same places? Who would want to listen to every conversation I have and all the times they're the same? Or read and reread my personal documents? Who in their right mind will have the energy to do that? Probably your husband. He seems to be the very jealous type. You don't have to tell me. I can sense it in your eyes. You wish to talk about the newspaper, the Buzz. Am I right? Yes, the 4th issue. The 4th issue of the Buzz is a joke. As if the nonsense from the 3rd issue weren't enough, Buzz had to be a scoundrel and attack Sophia this time. He was cautious and omitted the actual names of the people involved, but it's obvious he was talking about Sophia. Well, Sophia does not sound like a dying cat, so I don't know what you mean about that. Also, can I chat with you about the Humanitas mirror? Okay. Well, it was worth trying, at least. Now, Rubio should be out working now, but before we go and have a look, yeah, there he goes. Before we go and have a look at him, we should go have a chat with the lady, who should be back in her house by now, and see if she's got anything to tell us. Okay, she's not. Alright, let's get back into the... Well, here she is, actually. There we go. We came right at time. Mr. Bearz, come in. Thank you. Brilliant. Can I talk to you about a couple of things? Mr. Bearz? Yes, I can. I would like to talk to you about the draft of a letter written by Gova to the governor. I don't know what you're thinking about doing, Detective, but be prepared for the consequences. That's all I have to say about this. Okay, so she is being deliberately obtuse. Okay. She does not want to talk about her husband being a brute, which is fine. Let's quickly go to the city now, as he will be here. And if this doesn't work, then we can show a Humanitas mirror. Perhaps, yeah, here's Bearz and... Yeah, perfect, Bearz. And Yoink. This is where he throws away that piece of paper. Yoink. The Preta gives us the formula to the medicine. Yeah. Especially in the past, right? Okay, so we can't show them anything, but maybe we can show the people at the Casa Verde outskirts the thing. No, the doctor is coming in now. Yes, I'm here to mock you, my good friend. What? Didn't anyone tell you that I'm time traveler? Never mind, you'll never understand. Maybe I understand a little. I know you might think I'm crazy, but it doesn't matter. I've covered left several times, but for some reason I lost the way back as if it had been erased. Where did you come from? I can't remember. I also don't know who I am, but I have a strong memory that I've been here several times. Things are confusing in my mind as if the stories don't make sense as I've watched them all be put together. Do you believe in me? Well, I believe in you. You. Do you? Yes, I do. I have the humanity mirror. Does what you see in a reflection bring about any memories? The humanity never dies. Quintus never dies. But he did die. Well, that's what I've been told. The Sage of Rio said he died, but words can't be trusted. The humanity lives. Quintus lives. The Sage of Rio. And who is the Sage of Rio? Can you tell me about the Sage of Rio? So yeah, the humanity mirror does work on these mental patients. Fascinating. It is always a unique experience to observe patients communicating, expressing their rambling thoughts. But I am not your patient. Maybe not yet. Well, I'll talk to you in a minute. I want to talk to this patient first. Can I show you the humanity mirror? What do you want to show me? I can't understand. Okay, so he doesn't care, but he wants to be let out. I was watching you and I noticed a tone of dissatisfaction with our institution. For these cases, we're always willing to accept new residents. Ward B is usually lit by the morning sunrise. How about that? No, thank you. I'm not willing to stay here. Well, I'll talk to you in a minute, Mr. Beckmarty. Dr. Beckmarty? I'm a detective and I'm investigating Bearz murder. Detective, huh? Mental note, we'll see if he's really a detective. Well, you asked that last time, and I could not manage to prove myself. So tell me about Bearz. Dr. Beckmarty, it would help my investigation a lot if you could tell me about Bearz. Knowing your reputation, I imagine you have such strong opinions about such a polemic figure. Opinions? A scientist doesn't have opinions. We only have hypotheses, its confirmations, or its refutations. About Bearz, I can confirm that he was a man rather eccentric, crazy, the opposite. Bearz was one of the most lucid men I've had contact with. Yes, we've heard this. He had fully blah 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 blah. His indelicate attack on my methods detective was just as likely the senseless propaganda for an ineffective medicine had a touch of dishonesty. Is true. Dishonesty? Wouldn't that be a character flaw? A deceitful character. Is it a flaw? I don't think so. We all wear masks. Detective. Those of us who choose not to hide that, we wear them are the most transparent and lucid of all. But Doctor, how can I say it without offending? You're sure about this line of reasoning, considering Bearz to have a healthy personality, is at least to me. Diagnosing the inhabitants of Rio de Janeiro. Mental note, patient copying his doctor's behavior. Approach, unmask him by teaching his knowledge. Very well, detective. That's right. When we are looking for... That's right, he's getting us to do a quiz. What should be the first sign to look at? You should analyze their words. This answer is not wrong. At the same time, it's not completely right. Behind everything we say is what we don't wish to say, and it is by not saying that we say what we don't want to be said. So, let's consider our conversation, detective. Today wasn't the day you joined Casa Verde, neither for better nor for worse. Well, tell me about Cochrane. I'm interested in knowing what the doctor thinks about Cochrane. Imagine that analysing a quiet man like him must be a challenge. Wrong. My patient's silence is something completely scrutable. Every silence is different, detective. And what could you analyze of Cochrane? Let's see what my notes have to say about him. Patient Cochrane, silent with expression and communication deficiencies. Suspicion, suffering from regular articulating troubles from tormenting of yesteryear. Fascinating. What about Quintus Borba? Can we talk about Quintus, Dr. Beckmarty? Certainly a person of his importance caught the attention of your ever-watchful eyes. Simply the responsibilities of science. I can share my notes about him with you. There's nothing that needs to be hidden. Male adult elderly, close to 70 years old, medium height, thin, light, slightly grayish skin, protruding eye bags. Deep expression lines correlated with age and smoking, partial dentition, grey hair and body hair, scoliosis, grade 2 kyphosis, grade 1 osteoporosis, type 2 diabetes. End note. That's all. Admit that I expected more useful information to my investigation. Not that your notes are useless, far from it. This is a purely analytical view of medicine, detective. You went to what my watchful eyes saw, and that's it. Fair enough. But you normally say more psychological things about people. If it is a more complicated subject, Dr. Bakmati, I'd like to talk about Eva. There are no more complicated subjects, detective. People are complicated. Sorry, I didn't mean to offend. Offend? Would you say you frequently worry about offending your interlocutors on daily conversations? Not always. You seem very terrified, detective. I'll interpret this as decorum towards me and Casaverde. Mental note, patient discriminates disproportionate fear. Symptom affects his communication skills. Possible approach, shock therapy. What? Nothing. Let's get back to Eva. I have some notes that probably will be useful for your investigation. Let's see. The patient has first-rate psychological and anatomical conditions, digests easily, sleeps regularly, has a good pulse, excellent sight. Because of that, she's suitable to produce robust, healthy, and intelligent children. If, in addition to these gifts, the only ones worthy of a wise man concerned, Lady Evarista was poorly composed of features, far from getting it, he thanked God. So yeah, this is what he's got to say about his ex-wife. It's not very healthy, is it? Healthy at all. For he did not have the risk of neglecting the interests of science and the exclusive, petty, and vulgar contemplation of his concept. Holy cow, Doctor, what exquisite language. It sounds like a book. Really? I didn't notice. They are mere notes of a man of science. Yeah, I'm sure you didn't notice, you crazy arsehole. I know that faith matters is not your thing, Dr. Bakmati, but I would like to know how you perceive Padre Cabal. If possible, of course. No, quite the contrary. I have a lot of interest in him. The religious mind is something fascinating. Believing in the unbelievable, seeing the invisible, talking with imaginary friends. We all need something to believe in, right? Anyway, I can see that Padre Cabal is in a crescent in relation to his mental state. In my observation, he's been overcoming his anguishes and becoming a more controlled person. Well, that's good. I'm glad. Anguishes? We all have anguishes, sufferings, unresolved troubles, detectives. Such afflictions, if not treated, can evolve and lead to problems on a social and civil level. And would the doctor say that these anguishes could cause dangerous behaviours? And my question is not offending, of course. In Cabral's case, I still consider it out of the question. But for others? As long as he plays his part without much vigour, it doesn't experience any situation that alters his tranquility too much. Can you experience tranquility? I believe you have much to say about yourself, Doctor. An illustrious and critical figure to the well-being of Rio de Janeiro will certainly not mince his words about himself, after all. About me, you're mistaken. I have much to say about my methods, about the organization of the institution I've created, Casa Verde, and about the rigor we put into making it what it is. There's nothing in Casa Verde that isn't me, and everything I am, so is Casa Verde. It is an extension of me, and I am of it. I think I get it, Doctor. You and Casa Verde are one. What about you, Detective, with all your interest in my casa? What do you think about joining it? I believe the perfect job for you here. You'll fulfill it completely. Do you consider yourself prepared to be part of our institution? I'm always prepared, Doctor. Impossible to prepare for an infinite number of situations. You'll need equally infinite time to prepare. And none of us have infinite time, correct, Detective? I don't know for sure. Maybe some of us have an inexhaustible time. Absurd! I cannot allow you to contribute brilliantly in such fatuity. Who knows who else will believe you? Security, prepare a room for our new, always prepared patient. Ah, damn it. Well, we'll have to talk to him tomorrow, but that's fine. We can do so. That is madly okay. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Yes. I am tired of seeing you. For ordinary people, having an interest in the life of the city's Sanya Shah is almost mandatory, and investigating Sophia is a hobby. Obviously, our invective against her begins with Capito, Sophia's eternal mentor. It is common for the student to turn against their master, but considering Sophia and Capito, their friendship survived. Yes, they are friends. In any case, let us get down to the business. In your last conversation with Capito, she said the following. We can say that Sophia never backs down when she's disrespected. With this insinuation of Gepetto, however, we can finally have something more concrete to work with. But we need, as always, to be careful about Gepetto, Detective. She is incredibly smart at associating me with our city's elite. She has gotten used to seeing me as an enemy. Yes, that's true. And like the honest man I am, I must say that Gepetto has her motives to think like that. For example, in what considers the issue of the buzz in which I criticized Sophia, little did I know I was stirring up a hornet's nest. Why did you do so, Bearz? Why did you do so? Sophia's a fine singer. I can't criticize Gepetto for seeing me based on my words as an enemy of the so-called popular culture. Yes. However, even considering us as the enemy, I believe she's revealing us the truth unaltered. And if Gepetto is telling the truth, Diva Sophia could very well hold a grudge against me still. A grudge that, if it wasn't extinguished when my newspaper did, could have motivated her to a more violent reprisal. We must further investigate Sophia, Detective. I was planning on it. No one is above suspicion, much less the city sweetheart, Diva Sophia. Well, if I could talk to her prior to the bar, that'd be fine. But I cannot. So let us quickly go and talk to Eva about a couple of things. Let's straighten this up again. I saw that there was achievement. I was looking at the achievements the other day for straightening that up 10 times, and I'm very surprised that I have not gotten it yet. So, I mean, I hope you might have already heard me say this. Achievements off for the sake of not annoying people with the constant pop-ups that happen, but yeah. So I don't know when I've got an achievement or not, but there we go. Oh, yes, we have heard this before, haven't we? Yes, we have. So let's just wait for Eva. There we go. Miss Eva, right. Hello, Detective. Yes, I would like to show you two things. I've learned that you're filing for a divorce. Is that correct? Could you tell me about this decision? There's nothing to tell. I've decided I'm very sure about my divorce. Don't worry, I'm not here to try to dissuade you. Good for you, Detective. I would tell you not to waste your precious time. Nothing and no one will sway my decision. Really? Okay. So, if I talk to the doctor about that, he won't be upset. Miss Eva, what can you tell me about the issue 2 of the buzz? Oh, let's see, what issue is that? Oh yes, the one where Cubus attacks Casa Verde, isn't it? Even though Backmarty may look like a cold robot, this time I could see in his eyes that he felt Cubus's triarade. How did he react? Backmarty doesn't wear his heart on his sleeve, but Casa Verde, along with its methods, is his true motivation, his life's goal, his obsession. I came to realize that I could never dissuade him from his objectives, and that our marriage was doomed to fail. In fact, I fear that Backmarty is consumed by his persistence, bound to Casa Verde until the very end. Do you really believe that? Casa Verde is the most important thing in his life. It was only his coldness, his self-control, and his self-discipline that stopped him from immediately responding to Bearz's provocation. But know this, Detective. Backmarty wasn't always like this. He once devoted his energy to other passions, like me. But why am I telling you this? Regardless of your motivation, I thank you, Miss Eva. How was Backmarty before? There was a kindness to him. When we got married, he was a loving man, dare I say, even romantic. If you want proof, I can recite an old poem he wrote me. It's called To a Lady That Asked Me Poverty, poetry, and it goes like this. To a lady that asked me poetry, think of yourself you'll find. Better poems to write, vivacity, grace, delight, sweetness and peace of mind. If I ever gave you a bouquet, when younger, the ones I give now are under a melancholy I can't convey. A minute view of time is worth a year of songs long with it. The sun and the moon sublime, I believe God made them dear, to be in your other lives delivered. A poem from Backmarty to Eva. I should be paying attention to it. I just did. I read it all out even. And that's how it ends. What do you think, Detective? Beautiful, isn't it? It's okay. It's not my favourite part. Beautiful, yes, of course. Pardon me, Miss Eva, I got distracted to imagine Dr. Marty penning those verses with such voracious passion. But no matter for this investigation, all I need to know is that it exists. And can I ask you about the poem? Backmarty wrote you a poem, didn't he? How does it go again? I think I forgot. If you got Detective, let it be. This poem fills me with nostalgia for a time that can never return, sadly. Well, fair enough. You did not give me too much more information about the No, I'm not going to join this strike again. I don't want to be put into prison once again. Though, I could tell her about that person and then join the strike, and then we won't get arrested, right? But for now, let's get a Caso Verde. Because I know who the person is. Yes, I've got another delivery for Mr. Straw. There we go. Where is Beck Marty? Not here. Okay. Well, let's wait for him. This might take a little while, but I'm sure eventually... Oh, Lobo's here. Lobo, what are you doing? Let's eavesdrop. I said I'd find a way to end the strike. I'm sorry I had to be like that. Do you regret it? Regret what? Having conspired with my ex-husband to have me admitted here without any excuse? Having used your position and power to curb a rightful demonstration of a devastated working class? Actually, many of them got you elected. Or maybe because of your project to end the industrial bloc in favour of real estate speculation in the area. Your caustic personality will work very well in politics. It's a pity that it's over for you. Sometimes you need to size up your opponent not to be crushed. Have a good stay. So we now know that Eva is in prison. Yeah, this time Lobo really went low. I mean, I didn't expect him to be decent at all, especially when feeling intimidated. But associating with Beck Marty. Ah, Beck Marty, what a disappointment. I knew you'd say that about your husband. Alright, so Beck Marty is still not here. So let's wait for him a little bit more. There's the other patient that comes out to stay. There he is. Alright, Beck Marty, my good friend. How are you doing? Alright. Let's interrogate him about himself once again, but let's pick the correct option this time. Alright. I think I need to prepare myself a bit more. This prudence caught me off guard very well. It seems you're not completely lost. Yet, let's continue. Alright, tell me about Rubiao. I imagine that you've already had the opportunity to examine the era of the Quince's fortune, Rubiao. What does the modern medicine have to say about a person like him? I was unable to carry out examinations in Rubiao as I would have liked. In casual observations, I could see that he was an optimistic and affable person. Such characteristics are certainly the signs of a disturbed mind. A blatant cry for help, really. But, aren't these good things? I was under the impression they were qualities. Correct me if I'm wrong. Qualities, defects, these common interpretations are a setback for science. All that exists are the symptoms and the signs. For example, see what my professor notes have to say about Rubiao. Patient Rubiao, sleepwalking, vivid dreams, confusion between fantasy and reality. Suspected. Bite of the dog flea, Jumpus jumpus, very common in dogs of the Carmelis dogus breed. This flea is known for causing this type of hallucination, and Rubiao is always with that kind. I would never suspect. Really? Okay. Who's your real jobs? I imagine you know the pharmaceutic. Crispin. Am I wrong, Dr. Beckmarty? You are correct. What can you tell me about him? Nothing beyond what the most inept observer could detective. Reciting my notes. Male short stature, advanced degree of kyphosis. Straight tumor in his hands. Possible cause glucose deficiency in his body. Yes, I'd say the same. Difficulty with rejections, investigate further, made him create for years a friendly personality mask. Other observations, minimal degree of mythomania. Such deviation exaggerates the possibility of risk to his safety and or well-being. Anything else? End note. Okay. Well, we can talk to you a whole bunch of clues, but let's talk to you about the pre-hospitalization first. Dr. Beckmarty, my investigations revealed that you had Padre Cabal as a patient. Is this true? Yes. Would you like me to give him more information about it? Could you? It could be useful to my case. Your case, of course. The patient to whom you refer is no longer in our institution. Thanks to the progressive treatment made by our team, he was considered fit to reintegrate into society. What would be the reason for Padre Cabal's hospitalization? Mental note. Patient shows sign of monotonic questioning repetition. Reduced potassium? The patient in question was at first brought in due to certain feelings that his emotional system wasn't able to get rid of, so like lust or love or something like that. He harbored a deep resentment beside him for not having any choice in his own destiny. Alright, because he was forced to go into the priests. Really? And how did he get rid of it? A friend of mine wants to know. Casavete is equipped with therapeutic tools and treatment lines that rival those of the rest of the world. The patient we're talking about was submitted to a fatuity, full perk academic therapy upon iniquitabuyona, healed on his own. Fatuity? I think I did a few of those. In his case, the treatment consisted of carrying out a translation. Difficult translation, it's worth noting. Translating a transfer of Hebraic to Greek takes an uncommon erudition. Okay, so he did a translation. Maybe the person can talk about that. Priest speaks Greek and Hebrew. I barely speak English. That's true. I barely speak English. The complex and meticulous endeavor makes it possible for the patient, stepping outside himself, to observe why he was out of his mind. Really? Okay. Well, what can you tell me about the Bearz plaster? Dr. Betmacher, a bottle of a medical compound known as a plaster was found at the crime scene. Do you know this medicine? I know the plaster. Its classification as a medicine is highly questionable. Have you been using this substance, detective? Me? Not that I recall. The plaster should cause memory loss. In reality, its effect should be null. But the dependence on substances without clinical effect is a classic symptom of irrational behavior, detective. Only a madman will believe in the effects of something that causes no effects. A madman? Absolutely. Mental note, patient seems to be starting to see through his psychopathy's veil progress. But Dr. Medmati, are you sure? A real man of science only says his opinion when he's at least 99.91% sure. Well, in this case, I think this was a yes. Alright, can you tell me about the Bearz issue 3? About the third issue of the newspaper The Bearz, Doctor. Anything special to declare? The discussed matter was the popular strike movement. Nothing to declare. I didn't read this issue. Correction, I have something to declare. Do you oppose to my self-declaration, detective? No, of course not. Strike movements are transgressions of the social order. Collective disorders are symptoms of disorders at the individual level. Right, so you think that Eva is crazy, right? What about the Bearz issue 2? That was about this. In the second issue of the newspaper The Bearz, Dr. McMurdy, Bearz makes some biting comments about Casavete. What do you have to say about this? No surprises in regards to Bearz's stance in the matter. Our institution has always been widely supported by his political rivals, after all, so it would be illogical of Bearz to have any other attitude. If you were Bearz, detective, would you agree? I would agree. Yes, I would agree. Intriguing, especially considering that Bearz is dead, not being able to disagree with anything. Mental note, patient preceding delusions of belief in life after death. Approach canonical neo-transitional 3 of PCNT. Well, yeah, sure, why not? It can be a delicate subject, Doctor, so let me know if you don't wish to talk about it. What can you tell me about, how do I say it, the divorce? Divorce. A divorce is nothing but a legal process in which one or two parties present a breakup of their matrimonial relations. Is the definition enough to... No, Dr. McMurdy, I'm referring to your divorce. From Eva, your wife? I see. You should have been more specific. Such non-specificity can be a sign that you have trunks, tendency to reasonings, and unilaterally non-specific to knowledge syndrome. No, I don't even know how to swim. About my divorce with Eva. Unlike the previous relationship that caused her, let's say, commotions, you refer to a relationship with Bearz. Precisely, but in our relationship, Eva could unbind herself without any difficulty. Should I be proud of her, detective, for such a demonstration of emotional distancing? I don't think so. Incorrect. When we let our feelings influence our ability to analyze, we observe the truth, search for truth. If Eva was unhappy with their marriage, why should she suffer for an ideal, for such social pressure? Maybe my wife has indeed learned something from me in our time together. You, on the other hand, detective, still have much to learn. Gulp. Mental note, individual presenting romantic illusions at exaggerated levels. At risk to himself and others, keep him in his observation. Would you like to reword? Certainly. Eva is right in emotionally distancing, I get. Correct. Just like I have science, Eva has other passions. Other? I don't know if I understand. Unlike the end of her previous relationship, Eva leads her current one with no difficulties. Our relationship didn't leave a deep mark like our previous romance did. Really? What did Bearz do to her? Leave a mark? This can happen sometimes, Dr. Marty. You claim to be a detective, and a detective uses a methodology based on science. Science, as I well know it, uses tests based on proof. In my session with Eva, we carried out several psycho-investigative meetings, in which extremely relevant information about a clinical condition were established. Doctor, Eva wasn't a patient. She was your wife. Have you considered that you both could just be talking? No matter what you thought, my role was never be separated from my duty. This way, all our conversations were documented and analysed. Thanks to this, I made Secretary of State Lebenevez's request possible, preventing him with these evidences. Furthermore, Proskipus's death aggravated the situation. Could she, in a fit of rage, have committed a crime of passion? But Doctor, doesn't this go against the confidentiality of your patient? Fascinating. Is your strength of ethics stronger than your wish to succeed in your investigation, Detective? I'm a man of results, if that's what you want to hear. My initial judgment of you may have been mistaken. Don't worry about occasional misconduct, Detective. Consider this information only as a doctor worried about his patient. Right, okay. He's already lost track of who his patients are. And a poem for Eva. Dr. Beckmarty had access to a poem that, unless my sources are wrong, was written by you for the revolutionary Eva. A poem? What nonsense is this? Are you sure it wasn't a hallucination? Mental nerve, promotion to show romantic delusions, it increased the ingestion of vitamin D12. I don't understand much about poetry. Actually, I don't pay attention when I heard it. But I believe the title was To a Lady That Asked Me Poetry. If I'm not mistaken, it was like this. Think of yourself. You'll find more than poems to write. Bananas, shoes, and spikes, and socks you can't unwind. No! Stop it! All wrong! This is how it goes. Think of yourself. You'll find better poems to write. Vivacity, grace, delight, sweetness, and peace of mind. If I ever gave you a bouquet when younger, the ones I give now are under a melancholy I can't convey. A minute of your time is worth a year of souls on with it. The suns and moons sublime, I believe God made them, dear, to be in your other lives delivered. Oh, yes, it's true. I remember it. I was the one who wrote it. It seems like years ago. I loved her so much. Loved? Yes, but this poem was just a circumstantial mental disturbance, so you no longer love her, because you've become too invested in your work. You might be curing yourself, but by curing you're actually getting rid of your own personality. You need to see a mental psychiatrist. In general, artistic expressions emanations of misfit minds. Many of our institution's patients turn to this relief valve. What do you mean? Any you think is worth noting? One of our guests recently gave me one of his artistic expressions. It's obviously just reparation for a sick person. I still can get rid of it properly. A wood sculpture. Oh, a canine. Reverie? It seems like someone was trying to express something here. Who would want to see a canine? Maybe we could get caught from debate on wolves. What could represent a greater disconnect from our reality than trying to chisel a wooden dowel? Dr. Beckmarty, would you offer me your official opinion in regard to the translation? Exemplary work. A testament to Casavetto's and patient's capability of rehabilitation. Do you disagree? I wouldn't know. I don't know Greek, much less Hebrew. Maybe you do. We don't know what we're truly capable of until we try. Your time is up. I have other obligations in my itinerary. Alrighty, well, we've talked to him as much as we possibly can. Do we reckon we can go to the church very quickly and talk to the priest? We can try. We also need to talk to the lady, but it's too late to do that right now. So probably the priest is our best option. Let us see. Mr. Priest, what have you got to say about this? The fact that you were at the ward. The priest's hospitalization. I received information about a delicate matter. Were you admitted to Casa Verde, Padre Cabal? I reckon staying in that place wasn't comfortable at all. My main question is, how did you manage to be discharged? Dear God, man, I owe you no explanation, only to the Almighty. As far as I'm concerned, you won't have any answers on this matter. Calm down, Padre. I see that I actually have a path to follow in this investigation. Tell me about your Hebrew to Greek translation. Father, I've heard of a translation of yours that has gotten you into big trouble. What about it? I'm no longer keen on discussing academic matters, child of God. If you'd like, we can explore more meaningful topics like peace. Or perhaps the conversion of the soul. My parishioners usually appreciate the topics that I speak on in my sermons. Is that so? Who says your parishioners are happy about your leadership? Padre Cabal is known for being very severe, even punitive. There's a high number of Rio de Janeiro residents drowning in sin, so they deserve a severe penance. That's true, Padre Cabal, very much so. Your churchgoers are being punished. What about non-churchgoers? Be more careful, son. I can only account for what I do to my flock. Do you hear me? This is the reason why I was ordained. Your ordination wasn't exactly a choice, right? After all, you were forced to do that. I've seen a picture of you as a child showing how much you wanted to follow the steps of God. What do you mean? How dare you question my faith? Know your place. Besides, you're talking about a time in my life where I wasn't as strong as now. And why the hell are you bringing back such horrific memories? What does my childhood matter to you, someone who'd never understand it? Understand it clearly. How could you resist the forces that save Ben from being in your pace, right, Padre Cabal? I've heard that someone notably consumed with guilt and remorse that, under the influence of Bearz, Cabral's fight was sealed, and so was mine. So you've heard about it? How impertinent. Mind you, I've already accepted what was imposed on me. God is perfect, and those who question him will face the consequences. Don't you ever question yourself, Padre? If your feelings were that true, what caused your admission to Casa Verde? My dear, I kindly ask you not to dwell on such a delicate subject, and to maintain discretion. I'll answer whatever you ask me as long as you keep it a secret. My superiors can never find out about any of it. Thank you, Padre Cabal, but my investigation went further. I found out from official sources that you were admitted to that place for a reason. This is what I was told about you. He harbored a deep resentment inside him for not having any choice in his own destiny. Is this true, Padre Cabal? Do you hold grudges? Please, let's change the subject, shall we? You're putting me in a tight spot, son. Whether in the time of Christ or today, it saddens me greatly to remember how the powerful ones can control the destiny of others. With all your shrewdness, you still haven't understood where my bad thoughts come from, even after snooping on my whole life story? I understand, Padre Cabal, but I wish to hear it from you. Let's get back to the translation. It all comes down to it. The translation? Yes. The translation was a slam. A lie! I made up the codices just to escape Casa Verde. After all, my rigor got me in there. Wouldn't this rigor be justified? Powerful people, very powerful ones like Bearz, steal and manipulate the fate of others as if they didn't matter. My hatred for Bearz blossomed as soon as I realized this. Only the smart ones win battles. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Ha! What a joke! So, do you confess that you're filled with hatred for Bearz? Would your imposed life of devotion to God have made you act like the devil himself, getting rid of your sentence? I can't pretend that Bearz's death didn't bring me some peace of mind. It's all a part of God's plan, isn't it? People like Bearz often interfere with other people's lives and are not aware of the consequences. And speaking of consequences, who am I to question God's wishes? Bearz is dead because that is what he wanted. Amen. If you have what it takes to arrest me, detective, do so. I am accustomed to the imprisonment of both morality and the flesh. Harsh words, Padre, and they seem sincere too. Your confession about your situation with Bearz Cubis's death leads me to believe you're guilty. Therefore, I will faint. I will have a flashback about Bearz walking to the church. Well, if it isn't Bearz Cubis. If I didn't know your starting was due to old age and exhaustion, I must have suspect it was a vow of respect. If not to me, then at least to the grandeur of the house of God. If it isn't Padre Cabal. Fishing for sheep at the church entrance, that's what I call desperate. But don't worry, if faith can move mountains, it might just nudge one or two your way. Some souls are so deep in their own mud that they can't be fished out even with the strongest of nets. Be careful, Mr. Cubis. There's always a street in hell for infidels. If something should happen before regret catches up with you. That's true. So we know that Bearz did not kill... Padre did not kill Bearz. Very well, detective. Let's finish this plot. I agree. Let's finish this plot. A religious man, a lawyer, and now a scientist. It sounds like a bad joke. They walked into our bar. But it isn't. It is, in fact, a quixotic statement from Black Maria about our subject, Padre Cabal. What does the doctor have to say about him? He harbored a deep resentment inside him for not having any choice in his own destiny. He keeps some deep resentment inside. We only had a hunch that Kerbal could be frustrated with his lack of control over his own fate, but now we have a medical certificate. Can you imagine, Detective, what kind of imprisonment is an institution such as Cardiff can do to a person? Especially someone who's spent their entire life confined to a profession he didn't choose for himself. Of course he was willing to do anything to get out of that place, even a most challenging task, such as the translation Bahmati told you about. Where did Cabral develop the intellectual cunning to realize such a deed? I never knew Cabral could speak Hebrew, much less Greek, and my own doubts about the quality of this manuscript. It wouldn't surprise me if it was an inferior translation, or even a fake one. I could certainly have done it better. Well, it was a fake one, you're right. However, it wasn't enough for Bahmati to consider it as a proof of sanity. It was what got him out of Casa Verde, at least. He was discharged. I wonder if Bahmati was right in his decision. Was it safe to free a man such as Kerbal and allow him to walk the streets of Rio de Janeiro once again? I think so. Bahmati is a terrible psychological person. We must investigate further, Detective. We're so close now. Has Kerbal really healed, or has Bahmati made a mistake freeing a madman? Of course, proceed. Well, Pedro Cabral, the truth is out. I always knew that for a man to believe in God, he must be accustomed to life, and he is no obsession. Your translation was completely forged. I suspect as much, didn't I, Detective? You're living proof. Yes, you did. He did what he had to, so he could cheat the supposedly wise Dr. Bahmati. Then he up and walked away, without even erasing his tracks. Hearing your words makes it clear to me why you've never forgiven me. Who am I to question God's wishes? Bearz is dead because that is what he wanted. Amen. How could a man gifted with divine mercy, even if just a little, seem so acceptable of the death of a brother? At the end of the day, I gave your life meaning, Padre Cabral. You should be thanking me instead of resenting me. I don't know whether that is true. I think that you're a dick, Bearz. But that's the way it is. I can't wait until the grandeur of my actions are plain for everyone to see. Padre Cabral could have done so much more with what I gave him, but instead of embracing his fate, he fought against it. Who knows the highest he could have reached if he accepted what came from above. True. This seems we make considerable progress today, my boy. Good work. We better quit while we're ahead. I'll see you soon. Well, we didn't tell you about what's her name, but that's fine. I'll tell you next time. Alright, let's get straight in this painting. Yoink. While we think about some things. What are we going to do today? I want to go see Lureo. So let's get to Nobles Park. So, actually, let's get back to downtown. Grab a sandwich. As well as, let's just buy at the whole Helena's Cafe while we're here. Want to get everything. Yes, I would like shit tons of stuff, thank you. Give me everything. No, I'm going to keep that clear. But I will talk to you later, so maybe I'll give you the clear for that. Because I want to talk to you about the newspaper, things like that. Bought out the whole shop. Lie. Bye, mister. Yo. There we go. Now, can you talk to me about stuff? So, if I want to talk to him... Yeah. Mr. Lebanese, I'd like to talk about your rivalry with Bearz. We were friends, dear voter. The rivalry was just political play. I delighted myself in debating against Bearz during the meetings I hosted at my residency. It was a challenge to win an argument against him. He had the devil in his tongue. But thanks to these meetings, I was ready to take on anyone in debate, including those in Parliament. It's a pity that he became a ruminator. It wasn't himself anymore, and that put his position in Congress at risk. I had to oppose him vehemently. Maybe you meant humanity? That's it, voter. You're smart, like those who vote for me. Vote Lobo. No wonder you changed your own posture after all your own wife told me that you're capable of this. Powerful men like my husband know how to efficiently end disputes. Virgilia has known me for a long time, voter. Like Lobo Neves, she never lies. I had to act swiftly to bar Krupus's proposal. Are you sure this was the only reason that you discredited him, Mr. Neves? Nothing to do with his opinion, published in that ominous issue of the Bearz? Voter, I've been patiently listening to you so far, but there's a limit to everything. But foolish pastime never amounted to more than a tickle to anyone, much less to me. And that is a fact. Lobo Neves is a man of facts. Does that mean you would attend to a meeting of 1300 hours? Or would shake hands with someone whose name has 13 letters? Apparently, you want to know why my name is Lobo Boy, as in wolf. And a wolf protects its territory. Isn't that right, Mr. Neves? I've heard the following. Lobo Neves and Cubas always fought, yes, but deep down it was because they used to think alike. They were always fighting over the same interests. Did Bearz invade your territory, Mr. Neves? What's this rubbish? What are you insinuating? Virgilia. Don't you dare speak my wife's good name. Don't come at me with rumors. She's always known which one of us had the future. That's why she chose me. And are you sure she kept her choice? Because I've heard different. I promise I wouldn't tell, but oh well, tomorrow is a different day. The signs. She is cheating. She is cheating? A 13-minute later warning. My dear boy, please, don't spread the information, you hear me? I'll give you whatever you want. The people were to find out and would ruin Virgilia's reputation. Virgilia? What about the career you've fought your whole life for? I don't care about any of that. It's Virgilia who cannot afford any damages. Please, I'll do better. I'll do whatever I must to salvage our marriage. What do you mean, Mr. Lobo Neves? Do you feel guilty? Yes, my boy. All my life my career came first, before everything else. Every dispute, the thirst for power. I didn't even see what I was taking for granted in order to reach my goals. Virgilia, in the end, is guilty of nothing. Nothing? Virgilia is an innocent woman who fell into Bearz's hands, and was too busy fighting against him to save her. And the worst part, young man, my opposition to Bearz didn't stop at discrediting his proposal. I actually wrote a letter to the governor, and that's what really put an end to Krubus's career in politics. It came across its draft, Mr. Neves. I'm well aware of its content. If you read it, then you'll know that Lobo Neves, a man of the people, did everything he could to damage another man of the people, Bearz Cubas. His final version was even more cruel. I wish to make Bearz a pariah for the rest of his life, and now his life has ended. And I'm the man looking for the one responsible for it. Are you the one behind Bearz Cubas's death? After all, he wasn't just your political rival, was he? He was also your romantic opponent. You can stop right there, young man. Keep looking for your killer because his wolf only fights in the political field. My wife cheating on me with him might have been a low blow, but it wasn't fatal. In the end, I'm the one victorious. After all, I'm the last one standing. It's not my style to gloat over a corpse, but it's clear we have a winner in this dispute. Yo, pacifist, civilized speech doesn't stand on its own, giving your opponents to attack Bearz in every possible way. It seems to me like you are the wolf in sheep's clothing itself, Mr. Neves. But your facade doesn't fool me. You're capable of everything to win, aren't you? Therefore, I'm going to arrest you. Good morning, Lobo Neves. Looking for an eclair to sweeten your day? I got the last one. The newspaper says the strike will happen 13 weeks from now. Is that right? 13? Are you trying to provoke me, Cubas? I'm warning you, I'm not on a great mood with this strike and other matters that don't concern you. If things look bad for the Secretary of State, just imagine how it is for us, right, people? Ha ha ha! And you don't listen to the sweet phone bracket. Remember, a vote for Lobo Neves is a vote for action. I publicly promise to silence the bloomerless like Bearz here and put an end to this labor crisis once and for all. I will bury the spirits of every disgraceful man forever. You hear me, Cubas? Bury. We'll see to that. Why do you piss him off so, Bearz? Why do you piss him off so? He might have killed you, nonetheless. So you're back in the news? Let's talk about it. Yes, I've got news about Lobo. Yes, let's see what Lobo Neves has to say in his defense. I bet it's something up to his great politician sandwich, or just someone up to his, never mind. His standards. You're just going to make a fat joke, weren't you? Come on, detective, what did he say? Did he confess? It's not my style to gloat over a corpse, but it's clear we have a winner in this dispute. What? The audacity, the decadence! So that means Lobo considers the winner in all of this? How is that possible? Just because he's still alive and I'm dead? Since when does that mean anything? I know what he's saying, Dad. Lobo always knew that a debate is not about being right, it's about composure. And when it comes to composure, that superstitious dog had much more to lose. And he did. Or maybe he never even had something to lose. Didn't you see Detective Virgilia's portrait kept under lock and key in my house? I did see that. As you well know by now, Virgilia and I were lovers. We had our relationship right under Lobo's muzzle, and he never found out, so much so that you had to get him to see the facts. Looking from this angle, Lobo didn't have any personal motives to murder me. Our rivalry was more about politics than matters of the heart, at least that he knew of. The biggest proof of our particular war was a letter that Lobo wrote to the governor. Yes, I agree. You read his content, Detective. The words written on that draft. Lobo's intentions were but one, to publicly deplete me. Words of any damages that could happen to someone rising to power with no obstacles. He may have realized that that wasn't enough to finish me and hired someone to eliminate me. However, it's hard to believe that Lobo will simply like to remove me from the picture. Lobo and I were opponents, enemies, rivals. You would likely never know the strength of such a relationship, Detective, being a game character. Ahem. I suspect that even though Lobo had motive to want me dead, he also had motive to want me alive. Who would go head to head with him now? Who in Rio de Janeiro measures up to him? With my death, Lobo will lose his strength. Mark my words, Detective. The shot will absolutely backfire. So you don't think that he was killed? A satisfying ending to our investigation, Detective. It was good to find closure, don't you think? I agree. This work has led me fatigued. I will leave it at that for now. It's not like we will see each other again, would it? We've still got 30 more minutes, Detective. You don't know what you're talking about. We can find out plenty more in that 30-minute time period. Let's not straighten it today. I've got stuff I want to do. So again, let's go buy out the entirety of Helena's Cafe now that we've got stuff. I would like everything, my good friend. And no, I'm not going to give it to you, Lobo. I'm sorry, but you should have bought it prior to me coming in. But you didn't, even though you were here earlier drinking a coffee, so... Though, if their clothes are so popular, maybe they should make more in the morning. Have they ever thought about that? They've also got plenty of other cakes in the cabinet over here, so... Pick one of those. Get a tiramisu. Or whatever else they eat in Brazil. I don't personally know. Someone tell me in the comments. Yeah, let's get to Noble's Park now. I want to go see if I can give Quintus. No. Quintus does not want a piece of meat. I do want to talk to Bearz later, but for now, let's go to the arbor. Grab the hat. Go chat to these people. Right, these people talked to me about the... Right. These people talked to me about the people in the frat, which is fine. Dr. Bet Marty is here. Who's Dr. Bet Marty waiting for? And can I talk to her while he's out here? No. Culture. I've already talked to you about everything, my good friend. While I'm here, though, I'll steal the crowbar. I will steal the broom. I will steal what else? Probably nothing. Have we listened to this conversation? Yes. Alrighty. Let's go back to the Noble's Park and see if the dogs move now. Yes. Rubia. Tell me about this stuff. Tell me about the wooden figurine. And about The Buzz. Do you happen to know if I can find someone known as the Sage of Rio? The Sage of Rio no longer exists. What do you mean? Has he died too? The Sage of Rio is not a person, but a bankrupt newspaper that circulated around town. I bought it a while ago, but it was already going through a hard time. Worst thing I've ever done. I had a huge loss. I should have realized it'd bring me bad for luck. Why bad luck? This newspaper published Mr. Bulbous obituary, which was signed by Lobo Neves, the Secretary of State. Such a sad day, my goodness. It is with great sadness that I bring you the news of the death of the member of the city, Mr. Quintus Bulba. The philosopher threw himself from the pier into the ocean, and apparently he did not know how to swim and was carried away by the strong currents. His body has not been found and perhaps never will be. It is a sad loss to our community, but at this moment we need to keep our heads up and move on. Be written by Lobo Neves. So it's really fake, right? He's not dead. Why did he call Lobo Neves and Quintus Bulbous' obituary? Or Lobo Neves was part of his death. Can you tell me more about the fourth issue of the Buzz? Ah, no doubt about it. That was the time that Mr. Kibis made the scathing comments. When I saw that, I trembled with anger. Why, Mr. Rubeo? You seem to be a good-natured person. I can be a good-natured officer, but when it comes to someone when someone we care for is attacked, we might hit the roof, right? The reason is that Mr. Kibis implied he was talking about Sophia in that defamatory issue of the Buzz. Oh, I see. Why is it the reason why the newspaper closed down? Yes, I couldn't let Mr. Kubas carry on attacking everyone left and right like that. It was not only the newspaper that came to an end. Mr. Kubas never apologized for doing what he did, and we never spoke to each other again. At least not as far as I remember. Anyway, I wish things hadn't ended that way. But, why, somebody had to do something. Somebody needed to do something. No one offends Sophia and walks out unscathed. Right, Mr. Rubeo, got it. So she's got fans. Rubeo might attack someone as part of it. You're very devoted to Sophia, aren't you? If there's anyone really that deserves a devotion, it's Sophia. I only do what it takes to praise my muse, that's all. That's how you do anything to protect her, even cover up the fact that she is one of the main suspects in Bearz's death. What nonsense, she wouldn't hurt her to fly. I heard that Sophia was furious about the newspaper article, and well, its author is dead now. I will not allow Sophia's honor to be offended again. So what would you do to prove that you're not really as righteous as you claim? Here, this is the key to Sophia's dressing room. Finally. Finally. Go in when she's not there and see with your own eyes that my muse has nothing to hide from your investigation. I will. I shall. Okay. Let us ask for the human mirror. Let's give him the... There we go. Perfect. I will refuse. I've got some appointments to be. My good friend. Perfect, perfect. Alright, let's leave for now. Where do we want to go? Probably to the place, which is the technical way of saying downtown. Well, we've still got a long time before the performance starts, so let's get to the harbour. Let's have a run around. I want to see. Of anyone impressive. Yes. Ben's in the fraternity. I know it. Okay. We can ask him about Capito being spied on. During my conversation with Capito, Mr. Santiago, she said she felt the sensation of being watched. Were you aware of that? I didn't know she was feeling this way. I'm sure this is another one of her absurdities. Of course I try to keep track of her moves on occasion, from a distance, without her awareness. But there is nobody spying on her. All I want to know is where she goes and who she talks to. But why did you decide to start this investigation of yours? It's impossible to trust someone with so many streakers. She's hiding something from me. I can feel it. For instance, early last night she was seen leaving Bearz house. When she realized she was being watched, she smashed this damn record on the floor. Look. Oh, okay, so she had the record from the sleeve. Did you break it out of anger, or was she just trying to get rid of some evidence? Perhaps we can listen to it. We all have secrets, detective, but it is not suspicious behavior. I don't know what is. I agree, it is suspicious behavior. We can go have a look at the record now and see if we can actually play it. Oh, although I'm not entirely sure if that will work. Also, we don't have access to the house now, so we'll need to go downtown anyway to be able to get the key. I've listened to this before, haven't I? Yes, I have. Alright, let me in, cops. I've got this cheese bread for you. Grab the key. Perfect, perfect. Let's go grab. I did make the most of it. Don't you worry. Let's go back to Noble's Park. We're going to be light on time, but not entirely light on time. Let's quickly grab this. Let's go find the record player. Right, this feather is well preserved. Okay, so yeah, we can't play it. But we can ask about it. Let's go back to the city now. Quickly. And then run to see, what's her name? Sophia? Sure. Yeah, let's go see her. And see whether she can tell me about something. When does she actually show up? Meeting greet at 19 hours. 13, 14, 15, 16, 15, 18, 19. So she does it at 7. It's her, Sophia. Oh, I can't breathe. There we are. Sophia. This is the conversation with Ruby, because I've now, like, got the thing. No, yeah. Show item. There we go. Perfect. Let's go. Let's go into the room. Firstly, I would like to talk to you about this, Sophia. This. Can we talk about the fourth issue of the newspaper, The Buzz? Oh, honey, finally asking the right question. That rag achieved its goal. It created a lot of buzz. Even its name is annoying. But that's probably lived attached to the old memories and couldn't recognize the many greatnesses of our time. For example, moi. You're not modest at all, Don't be naive, detective. You need to know your value. That's what my singing teacher used to say. You had classes that said that your talent is natural. A gem like me, even with all its inner glow, needs to be dilapidated to reach perfection. That's why I sought classes with the greatest artists of our time. About these memories of Bearz, whom do you think he was referring to when he praised the singers of yesteryear? It was more your friend than it was mine, Mr. Detective. You should have paid more attention. Actually, he wasn't my friend at all. Actually, I never met him when he was alive. In any case, after this issue, the newspaper was discontinued. There are still well-intentioned people willing to aid a demoiselle. Well, intention to whom you refer. Just connect the dots, mon cher. I agree. It's Rubia. Pretty obviously Rubia. But can I talk to her about various things? Nope. Nope. She doesn't want to talk to me about anything. And I don't want to show her the key because she might take it from me. While we're here, Rubio. That's a great Sophia to me. Miss Honor. Oh no, leave it alone. Yeah, let's wait for her to get back on stage, or she'll kick us both out. Yeah. There we go. Alrighty. And then let's try to open it with the key. There we go. Perfect. Alrighty. Now let's look at these gifts. Oh my, flowers, chocolate, strawberries, passionate letters, such devotion, huh? Gifts from Sophia's fans. I wonder what these fans wouldn't do to defend her. Yes, I also wonder that. Look, a good portion of these are from Rubio. I wonder what Christopher thinks about this. Well, we can ask. Clothes. Sophia is a woman of refined taste. I'm not an expert on fabrics, but they seem to be of great quality. And finally, well, not finally, Poster the singer. Not Poster, is the mysterious Diva. Wonder how many people know the identity behind that mask. Probably just me at the moment. This is where the stars get ready. Wait, what is this? Yes, evil Broduscopus. She definitely didn't like my client. But we can't take that as evidence, apparently. Alright, let's get out of here. Lobo. Ah, yes. Lobo is not too much of a fan of him. Alrighty. And so we can't talk to him right now either. Or Virgilius. They're all, like, too busy listening to the performance. Is there anything we want to do prior to the night? Probably not. There's not too much we can do, right? We can go to the... Let's get an arbor. I don't know what I'm doing there, but let's do it. Culture, my dear boy. You want any of this? Nope. He doesn't want a sandwich, apparently. And a crib and a fraternity. Of course, I was the one who stole it from that idiot spell wannabe. Stole it? What, are you going to arrest me for it? I did a favor to my niece. She needed a little help with the strike. Don't know what she wanted with this, but I hope it helped. Yeah, it did. It certainly did. Alrighty. I'll see you around too, Copram. I'll see you around. We got anything else that we can talk to people about? I know that, yeah, Vigilia and Thingamajig are going this way. They're leaving at the moment to the place with all the people. We're gonna have our day forcibly ended soon. But while I'm here, you know, let's have a look at the ocean. Nothing. 80. What are the numbers on the matchbox? Because I reckon those are probably where we want to look. No, 157. I thought it was 3 different numbers. But we can't look at 157. What would Lobo Nevius sign Princess Borges of Tree? We need to ask Lobo about that. Yes. Okay. Perfect. So it seems like we've used all of the items to their value, for the most part. And Bearz, he's got, right, more information about what he did during the day. So at 10 AM he went to the Kubas Manor. Then he went to Helen's Cafe, downtown, missed a couple of ones. Went to the harbour at 7 PM. At 8 PM he was at the Kubas Manor. At 10 PM he was downtown seeing Rubio. And at 12 he was dead in the alley. So we've still got a lot of people that we need to figure out what happened to. But we'll figure that out for a different time. Also, we still don't know what that 157 is. It must be a house. Hello, detective. How's the investigation going? Sneaking up dark alleys, listening behind doors. We need progress. Do you think this is a joke or a game? Yes, I do. I do think it is a game. Maybe we can get a clue. A new statement about Eva from Dr. Bet Marty? That would make sense. After all, he's Eva's current husband, or better yet, her current ex-husband. Well, they're not divorced yet. What does the most fair man in Rio de Janeiro have to say about his own ex-wife? Our relationship didn't leave a deep mark like our previous romance did. I see Dr. Mark Barty might be steadfast in his actions, but he's not the machine everyone believes him to be. Anyway, back to his words. Barty says that Eva's previous romance left a deep wound, unlike her present one. There's no secret, and you know what Eva's previous relationship was with me. Barty's words reveal that, unlike him, I actually had some meaning to Eva. You see, Detective, I'm convinced that we had some good times, but for reasons beyond my control, I had to distance myself. She should be more resentful of her uncle than me. After all, it was he who persuaded me to distance myself from his niece. But what matters are for her motives. We begin with Libba's insinuation about Eva's involvement, followed by Capito's statement of this provocation, and now her own husband claims that her previous romance with me left her with a deep wound. Not to mention that the maniac Barty signed an order of hospitalization for Eva. Oh yes, we need to ask Eva about that as well. Could that be another insanity of his, or was he motivated by the mark I left in Eva's heart? Oh, could she be so eager to get revenge? Is her involvement with the strikers just a mean to plot against me? I began this investigation not really believing the possibility of Eva being my assassin, and now I'm seriously considering it. There's only one way to find out, once and for all. Go to Eva, Detective. She is the only one who could extricate herself or finally take the blame for my demise. Anyone else? So, Detective, anything new on our investigation on Marty? Yes. Yes, excellent. Whose is it? Eva. Ah, a woman, Eva of all people. Cottram's niece, the one who we began our investigation with. And also the wife of Dr. Bearz. Maybe her perspective is a little partial, however. What did she have to say? It was only his coldness, his self-control, and his self-discipline that stopped him from immediately responding to Bearz's provocation. Let us analyze this statement from Miss Eva with great care. She begins by giving us many qualities she sees in Marty. His self-control, his self-discipline, and even his coldness is positive here. It doesn't seem like the opinion of someone who has undergone a process of marital separation, does it? Yes, it does not. It seems like Eva saw some feelings for Marty, or at least some tender memories of the scientist. Maybe she was softened by memories of a Marty that doesn't exist, not anymore. At least that's what this poem suggests, I agree. Yeah. It is extremely hard to believe that a solemn, calculating man like Marty could write poetry, I agree. It is weird. It reminds me of all of the contradictions of the human heart, which could reinforce the idea that Marty was indeed my assassin. Well, back to Eva's statement. That's why I think that Marty's personality has changed in becoming a psychologist. He's psychoanalyzed himself to have no feelings. Eva says that Marty's coldness was what kept him from immediately responding to my provocation. To what answer is she referring to? Could Eva be right? Very deep inside mathematical Marty was the heart of an irascible and tempestuous man? If that's the case, this very well could succumb to the thirst of revenge, and be the cause of my demise. Let us proceed with the investigation, Detective. I'm beginning to take Marty for a suspect. Bring me more statements about him as soon as possible. Let's see. We've got one about Capito. Any new developments? You managed to speak to someone close to our suspect. Oh, I can see that you did. Someone very close. And what did Capito's husband have to say about his own wife? It's impossible to trust someone with so many secrets. She's hiding something from me. I can feel it. Or Ben Santiago. Join the club. Capito hides many things from practically everyone. It doesn't surprise me that even her husband is not immune to a sphere of mystery. For a marriage, however, that should be guided by principles such as truth and transparency between husband and wife. It is understandable that Capito and Ben's marriage will be in crisis. Ben was my lawyer when I was alive. I know him as no one does. Precisely because I know him, when we discovered that Capito felt she was being spied on, I already had my suspect in mind, here as Ben. Ben himself, I know exactly the jealousy he feels for his wife consumes him. Yeah. But besides understanding him and frankly feeling sorry for the man, what else could I do? Whenever he confided me about his suspicions, I urged him to let certain feelings go. It would have been for the best. Such was my insistent detective that I started to sound like a broken record. Speaking of a broken record, you must have had rumors on such an object. Yes. This record was very dear to me. Capito had no right to destroy it like she did. I need to talk to Capito about that. Or because she believed she could use it to get through to me. What Capito didn't know, or maybe she did, is that while he spied on her, Ben saw him break my precious record. Assuming that such an emotion has displaced him from genuine feelings, the act only served to fuel Ben's suspicions. Poor Ben, what must it be like to live under the grip of doubt? But we must agree with Ben Santiago as something. The manner in which Capito destroyed that record could easily be interpreted as an outburst of anger. But it could also be seen as a sign, as a message. What if Capito was trying to send me a message? Both Eva and Sophia, each closer than Capito, made it clear that she was secretive and captivating, a dangerous combination. And if Capito was capable of concealing things from Ben, her own husband, why should we suspect that she played a role in the crime committed against me? She, with no shadow of a doubt, had the means, and her alliances had much to gain from it. Why don't you go to Capito herself to uncover the last piece of this puzzle? Only she can put an end to this mystery. And what about this other fact? I've got so many facts. A statement from Rubio regarding the captivating Sophia? Why am I surprised? But let's hear it. It's not like I could do much from where we're standing. I mean, where I stand. Someone needed to do something. No one offends Sophia and walks out unscathed. Rubio said that peaceful, sweet Rubio. Impressive of how his passion for Sophia could provoke such an aggressive reaction that otherwise placid Rubio. If we think about it, Rubio and his adoration are just weapons that Sophia has at her disposal. Capito said that Sophia brought an end to the buzz, all because she took offense at the opinions I expressed. I didn't tell any lies, Detective. Sophia should have been so frail. Rubio, on the other hand, shouldn't be so easily manipulated and impudent. His time with Princess apparently didn't teach him anything. Sophia has Rubio eating out of the palm of her hand. Certainly that's how she managed to bring an end to my newspaper. Yes, I agree. But that doesn't necessarily mean she was responsible for the crime committed against me. Not in the least. We need to investigate Sophia even further, Detective. I feel like there's more to uncover about her. I certainly agree with that. Well, let's leave. And let's do a whole bunch of stuff in the 3 minutes that we've got left in this episode. Well, the first thing that I want to do is talk to Lobo. So let's go do that while I'm here. Lobo, come here. Lobo. You got this, Lobo. Lobo. I would like to ask you about the obituary of Princess Bulba. Mr. Lobo, since you've written an obituary for Princess Bulba, I gather you two had some relation. Would you care to comment on that? Obituary. Obituary. Most of the time it is one of my assistants to write those things, so I don't always have the time. As Secretary of State, I need to be in position for cases that are more notorious matter, you must understand. But yes, I do remember the obituary for Princess. This document leaded me great approval from traditional families. What do you want to know? I'd like to know about Princess's death. Look, Verda, I don't know all the details. As a man who serves the people, sometimes I must act and not think twice. What I was told was that Princess dreamt of a peer. This seems to be the only results related to this information. Could it be that your influence helped corroborate this version of the story? My valuable voter, it is possible. What can I do if the people choose to believe me? A vote for Lobo Neves is a vote for truth. In fact, I recommend you choose the same. Who doesn't want to stand on the side of truth? I'd like to know more about the note. Dear voter, the note on the obituary is a mere formality. If it was up to me, I wouldn't even do it. I have no time for such things. It's honesty of my policy. I'll be honest with you. I wrote it as a favor to the fraternity. The fraternity? Yes, voter, the fraternity is a select group of powerful men interested in Rio de Janeiro and where it is going. Naturally, I'm a part of this association. I vote for Neves, I vote for being sure of things changing for the better. So he's part of the fraternity, so we can ask Ben about that, because Ben is also part of the fraternity. But who among these powerful men from the fraternity could have asked for it? If that is so important to you, David, it was Ben Santiago who asked me for it, Bearz's lawyer. Bearz was well shielded, legally at least. Ben is a very competent man. One day I'll get him to join my team. Ben's calmness while solving the problems created by Bearz was terrifyingly admirable. And well, I'll change the subject very quickly to talk about this. Mr. Bearz, you're in the fraternity, right? Can you tell me about this fraternity? How does it work? Do you exchange favors and aid with each other? Dear voter, that's what a brotherhood is for. If a fellow member asks for help, I must help him without questioning. And it's reciprocal. Not very different from how things work in politics, so it seems. Dear voter, may we change the subject? There are many places to be, and this talk is going nowhere. Fair enough. I'll talk to Ben in a minute. Right now, in fact, so let's go. Let's go have a chat with Ben. That was the wrong way to get to a taxi stand, but that's alright. Let's go to the arbor. Not the arbor. the industrial block. And then go to speak to Ben. Perfect. Ben, my good friend, what can you tell me about this? Mr. Santiago, we need to discuss a crucial point. Evidence points to a favor allegedly bestowed on you by Lobo when he had a false notice published in the newspaper. Such notice will be about Quince's Bulbous' passing, apparently about a second agreement of the fraternity. If you're really wishing to address issues about the fraternity, meet me there later. Be happy to answer all your questions. Go! I'll do my best to arrive on time. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to him about that in the fraternity in that case then. But for now, let's go talk to Eva, who will be striking right now, and see what she has to say about everything. Because I think that we're ready to confront her. So that'll be our last bit of evidence for this episode. And see what she has to say about Bearz. Okay, so it's not quite her confronting yet. Miss Eva, we need to act quickly. Lobo has partnered up with your now ex-husband, Dr. Marty. The plan is to lock you up at Casa Verde. Back Marty and Lobo? He wouldn't do that to me. Not after what we've been through. Come, Miss Eva. Leave him over for another time. You need to act before it's too late. Back Marty is a lost cause, unfortunately. Sold the remains of his principles to Lobo. But I won't do the same. By my principles, I'll stay and face the consequences, whatever they may be. It's not the time for that, Miss Eva. You have to escape. Escape? Do you think I will come over a situation like this after my former partner betrayed me by teaming up with my enemy? Never! I'll stay, and I'll fight to the end. Fair enough. Well, let's go talk to Black Marty in the Eve. No, I don't want to run this right now. Because we will get arrested. And that I do not want to do right now. Let's go talk to Lobo. Do we? No. Let's go talk to what's her name? Lobo's Park. Capito? And ask her about the mysterious Diva. Miss Capito. Thanks for letting me in, Miss Capito. Alright, let us ask about the broken record. I see you've got a strong hand to play. Well, start dealing. Man, Miss Capito, you're seen leaving Bearz's house with one of his belongings. As you know, he's my client and the victim of a crime. The belonging was a vinyl record. Yes, exactly. It seems like as soon as you realize you're being watched, you smash the record on the ground. Some may call that an attempt to destroy evidence. And a sign of contempt for what it represents. Is that what you believe? I won't even start on why I was being watched, Detective. Some people believe they can have it all, but some obsessions belong in the past. But the lady doesn't esteem her own past, the life I've led. Detective, I cherish everything I've lived through, but the memories of my past and what's in it bring me a certain melancholy, a touch of regret. You see, I can't help but wonder what might have happened had I chosen a different path. You're referring to your career as a singer. Oh, my career. A secret that doesn't seem to be so well kept anymore. If Ezekiel wasn't in the picture, I might have regretted not chasing fame. What about those who long for your return? I've heard from someone the following regarding your talents and your fans. She had indeed a charming voice, and I don't condemn those who long for her return. I trust it was Sophia. I'm very proud of my former student for carrying out my ideals in her own art. I, however, never quite knew how to handle those who cling to the past, kept insisting that I should return, especially the financial elite of Rio de Janeiro. Bearz was part of it, wasn't he? There wasn't many among them who insisted, Detective. What matters is that I found new ways to make myself known in the hearts and minds of the people. There are many ways to change the world, Mr. Detective. Could this have been your path towards the labor strike movement? I had to mingle with the movement to get to you. I know your ties to them are significant. Why didn't you open up about them? I know your cause is noble, but know this. If this information ever becomes public, I'll retaliate accordingly. No, you don't have to worry, Mrs. Capito. I don't tend to coerce you. I only want to confirm the information. After all, for someone of your social status, being involved with such a cause is very unusual. However, key members of the movement spoke highly of you, saying, for instance, She supposed us anonymously protect herself against leaders from libraries. Diva, who's certainly the one who said it, is sharp and brave. It's a shame our paths didn't cross sooner. High society, detective, has its means of self-preservation, with the sole goal of keeping their own privileges. For its members, however, I would always be seen as a traitor, which isn't entirely untrue. What do you mean? Detective, are you sure you don't wish to follow a different line of thought? I can offer you other relevant information, which may help your case in some other way. If you don't mind, Mrs. Capito, I'd like to continue from where we are, if you may. If I may, it's just that I haven't been myself lately. No secret is safe from brass. It's very hard to be yourself when you feel that society is looking at you differently all the time. Do you say that because you felt spied on? Do you really believe the feeling of being spied on might have affected my mental state? That I would have taken a more radical action against my energies just because I was feeling bad. Enemies like your contractor from the afterlife, Bearz. My instincts don't fail me, detective. They never have. I know I'm being watched. Could you be in on it? No, Mrs. Capito. I'm an investigator, not a spy. One behind it is your husband, Ben. I was driven to it by jealousy. Oh, Ben Theo. Tisk. Detective, we mentioned many characters in our conversation so far, and Ben Theo, my husband, only appeared now. Yet another side of the distance between us, and of our crumbling marriage. You're still a great mystery to him, Mrs. Capito, in Ben's own words. It is impossible to trust someone with so many secrets. She's hiding something from me, I can feel it. And do you believe what I'm hiding from him is a crime, Mr. Detective? Is that the case, Mrs. Capito? Are you Bearz Kibis's murderer? Ben Theo, like any lawyer, has a cynical, conspiratorial mind. He never even trusts a woman he chose to spend his life with, and is jealous of his own son. He sent Ezekiel off to seminary just to keep him away from me. But Theo seemed incapable of accepting me as a woman in control of my own life. But his desire for me is so overwhelming that it presents himself from truly having me. As for Bearz, the birth of presses, Bearz threatened to expose my involvement in striking my identity as the mysterious diva if I didn't return to that role. There's only so much a woman can endure, detective. Smashing a record to the floor almost seems like a remarkably controlled counterattack, doesn't it? And how would I know that a broken vinyl is all the defense that you carried out? You might never know, detective. I admit that Bearz's death has brought me some relief. I feel that now I can be myself. A shame this should happen behind bars. No matter how closely you watch, there's always a surprise waiting, investigator. Even men consider good can join forces with the bad when it comes to self-preservation. Isn't that the truth? That is the truth. Definitely the truth. We'll find out whether Capito murdered her. Would you look at that, if it isn't my neighbour, Capito? In good spirits, huh? What's gotten into you? Nothing, my dear, except for the marvellous voice of the mysterious diva. Spent the entire night listening to her record. Such moving harmonies. Only an inveterate fan could compose such talent, or the mysterious diva herself. Brothers, you're despicable. Have some discretion. We're talking about things of the past. That chapter of my life is closed for good. I thought it made it clear you should let it go once and for all. Haha, impossible, my dear. The mysterious diva deserves to be back on the spotlight, and if it's up to me, this will happen. Bearz, you fool, you better give up this idea of yours before what? People learn your other secrets, for example, that you're the one sponsoring this fracas. How did you know that? It doesn't matter. What matters is that no one but me has to know if you revive your career. Blackmail. You're a despicable man. Someone needs to put an end to your ruses. But not me. I'm walking into my house. Bye. Did everyone kill Bearz? Very well, detective. Let's finish this plot. I certainly agree. Let's just finish. Capito, did you manage to speak with her? I wish I had this chance. I figured you wouldn't have any troubles, detective. You've been doing well. But it is all true. I always idolized Capito, a mysterious diva. To me, she represented everything beautiful and deserving of preservation in art. However, as it happens in life, the greatest talents, when not protected, isolated, and lost with time. In Capito's case, always in command, she herself was the one to abdicate her previous guilt. Or she could live a quiet life, denying her light to the world. Tisk. Yes, I did it, and I have no regrets. I did what had to be done so that Capito returned to where she couldn't have left. Music. I threatened to expose her, yes. As the sponsor of the strike, as told by Eva. And as the mysterious diva, as told by Sophia. Wouldn't you have done the same, detective, if you could? Capito, impetuous, threatened by her own past, went to my house and stole the record as carefully kept. And she did it as a demonstration, did she not? That she would take no audacities from me, that she'd give me a chase of my own medicine if necessary. Does seem like something Capito would do. Be strange to think that Capito, having challenged her anger and destroying one of my treasures, could need more than that. Would she have need to kill me after destroying the part of me I like the most? At the same time, breaking a record might not have been enough to consume all the hate she had for me. After all, you hid it from Capito herself. I admit that Bearz's death has sought me some relief. If Capito was or wasn't the one responsible for this relief, we may never know. An incomplete and mysterious ending, much like the very person it frames. But we've reached the end of the story, didn't we? We still don't know who is guilty of my murder, but no matter. As you well know, this is how my investigations go. Let's do it this way. We'll continue some other time. I need to gather my thoughts before we take another step. Until I see you again, detective. Until I see you again, audience. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to like, comment, or subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. See ya!